We owe it to ourselves to try to look at how technology may be affecting our ability to understand the future, because we're kind of entering a period where we have so much data that data ought to be able to help us to make more rational decisions and better decisions in our day-to-day life, but not just our day-to-day life, but also leaders as well. So I got to thinking about all the information that we have, and most people don't know that we're generating as much information as we did from the dawn of humankind to year 2003 every 24 to 48 hours. That means we go home from work on a Friday afternoon, and that entire body and universe of information that could help us make better decisions and better choices has been generated by Monday morning, and there's no way our brains can really wrap around that. But the fact is that data production is accelerating. But what's important about all that data and the analytics behind it is that we're now able to take billions and billions of data points and connect them into sophisticated algorithms. And that technology is called predictive analytics. It allows us to take what has happened before and look at the nuances of what happened before, and then forecast with incredible accuracy that we've never had before, what's going to happen in the future. Let me give you an example of how accurate we've become in just recent history. It used to be, just a couple of decades ago, when a mother became pregnant, we couldn't have told her whether she was going to have a boy or a girl. We didn't know the sex of the newborn. But today, think about this. In a couple of decades, we've become 100% certain. You know, now using technology, we can tell you if it's going to be a boy or girl, and it's going, whatever the doctor tells you, that's what you're going to have. We're no longer looking at the shape of the mother's belly or what kind of cravings she has at midnight. We can use science now to determine with 100% certainty what the sex of that baby's going to be. But a lot of people, they accept that. But what they're shocked about is that we can now predict with 86% certainty that you are going to trip and fall and injure yourself within the next 3 weeks. Now, people look at me when I say this as though I'm talking about science fiction. I am not. I'm talking about the miracle of predictive analytics. It turns out that before you're going to fall in the next 3 weeks, you have a 5 centimeter per second change in your normal walking gait. That's the precursor. Who knew? We didn't know this until computers, which are gathering all of this data, were able to put together these algorithms and say, look, we've noticed there's a relationship, a correlation between a person's walking gait changing and their inevitability of tripping and falling. But let's even look at other examples. Today, I can tell you how much energy wind farms will generate by tomorrow morning with almost 100% accuracy. That's a phenomenon that we never had. It's a power we never had before. This also affects how retailers are operating right now. Predictive analytics is not only used by governments and by financial institutions, but it's also being used by retailers. The largest retailer in the world, when they discovered that the warmer temperatures led to low milk production in cows, they began tapping NASA's meteorological database so that they could get the jump on when that shortage was going to occur, when the temperatures were going to rise, and they could lock in milk prices ahead of all their competitors. So you can see what kind of a business advantage this is. And never mind genetics. Think about what we know at the time that a person is born. We can do genetic testing to discover if they are predisposed for soft earwax, even for violent behavior. For many cancers, thousands of cancers you can be predisposed for, and learn about that at the time that you're born. Now, I've been talking a lot about all of this knowledge that we have about the future and the importance, the true meaning of what it means to be able to look downstream and know what is coming. And we have a moral and an ethical obligation to act on that knowledge. We can't deny science. We can't deny technology. It continues to progress. We may not like it, but it's happening right now. So we have to make a decision. We have to form guidelines and laws. We have to make decisions in terms of what kind of privacy can be violated, what cannot be violated. We need to have that discussion right now. And more importantly, when we do get to 99.9% certainty, what is the ramification of that? For me, the fact that someone could come to me at a very young age, 4 or 5 years old, and look at my child and say to me, your child is predisposed to become a sociopath, I don't know if I would want that information, particularly being a scientist and knowing that there's no cure for that, and we don't know what the exact triggers are. But on the other hand, should I not get that data? If you give me that data, would I be more vigilant? And in some way, would that vigilance change the way that my child was raised and who they became? These are all important questions, and I think that we owe it to ourselves to talk about them. I named my book On the Verge because we are on the verge of 99.9% certainty. And when we get to that point, there will be major repercussions in how leaders lead and in how the person on Main Street makes their decisions. And I think the time to begin talking about it is now, based on my experiences for 30 years in Silicon Valley and how fast this technology moves. Predictive analytics is on the move.